Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the pod. Uh, Very special day, long time coming. As you can see, we have head coach of the Hazleton Area High School Cougars with us. This is our pre-show for Meet the Cougars 2025. Quickly thank our sponsor for the show this afternoon, as we are live on YouTube at the local sports pod. To RL Marchetti Plumbing and Heating, Hazleton. Serving the area for over 110 years. Please give him a call. My good friend Randy Marchetti, keeping the business going all these years at 570-455-7335. Again, RL Marchetti Plumbing and Heating, our show sponsor for this afternoon. Well, Scott, we talked a couple days ago, and formally, I guess you've kind of been here and there since February when you took the position. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming on with us. We're going to get to know each other outside of personalization in the next 15 or 16 weeks. So you'll be sick of me by then.
No, we won't get sick of you. But no, we're excited to be here. We're excited to be, we're 2 weeks out.
It's not far,
2 weeks
man.
out from
It
our
is
first game.
not far.
Thinking back to, in February when I was hired and decided to do this, it seems so far away. And here we are. We're through our first week in camp. Next week we could actually finally start hitting and tackling.
Doubles next week too, right?
Doubles all week next week. So
Wow.
our kids are excited. They're excited to get out there and compete. And, we were kind of holding them back a little bit, like kind of saying, keeping the horse in. But we're ready. We're ready to rock and roll now.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here at Harmon Guys Field. About 78 degrees. The breeze is flowing. It's a summer day. But the smell of football is in the air here, and we're all very excited. Again, like I said the other day on the quick promo, to bring you the content throughout the season. Scott, I know we talked the other day. I wanted to just get in a little bit of your history, just generally with the program and how it's evolved, right up until you becoming the eighth coach in Cougar history.
So, born and raised here, graduated from Hazleton. Played my whole career here. Played for Rocco Patron, in the early to mid 2000s. Was on some really good teams. We would pack this stadium here on a Friday night. I grew up coming here watching my cousins play. And as a little kid, running around the field, throwing the football over in the grass.
We were just talking about the knoll.
Yeah, all of the things that
tradition.
All of the things that you would do as a kid, trying to catch a mini football from the cheerleaders when the Cougars would score a touchdown.
Absolutely.
All of those kind of things. Trying to bring that tradition kind of back to Hazleton. So, played through that, and then had the opportunity to go on and play offensive guard at Shippensburg University. Did that for 4 years. Was still involved in coming back and forth, like 2 games. When I would have a weekend off or we didn't have an away game, wasn't too far to be able to get back. Then I decided to go on to chiropractic college and become a chiropractor. That's kind of where I kind of got away from everything because I was, worrying about studying, worrying about school. And, when you're going through medical school, you don't really have time to talk to anybody or see anything or, try to keep up with the program as much as I could. And then, became a chiropractor. Myself and my wife, Lauren, decided to leave the area. We left the area, had a chiropractic office in Philadelphia for 3 years. And then, one day we just decided. I came home and I said to her, what would you think if I said, we wanted to move back home? And she said, I'll be back tomorrow. So, we came back home and literally first year back, I was actually opened up an office here in Hazleton, and I was invited by Coach Bookman's father, Dennis Bookman Sr., to help him with 7th and 8th grade football. So I decided then, yeah, why not? I could give that. I was just starting out. I was just starting the office. I could do that. So did the 7th and 8th grade football for that year, then became the head coach of the 7th and 8th grade football, did that for 2 years. And then, of course, Coach Bookman got the job. And playing with him, he asked me, would you like to come on and coach? So I did. I made the jump. I came up, coached on the high school with him for 3 years. We had, 3 great years trying to trying to really build the program from the ground up, get more involved in our junior high programs, get more involved, with the different things throughout the community. Did that, and then really things started to take off for me with business wise, and we got really busy. We ended up opening up a second practice in Mountaintop, and the practice times that we would do didn't work with my schedule. We practice right after school. I mean, that's usually when you practice for football. Most coaches are teachers. Practice was always, you're on the field at 3:15 right after school. So that time frame's hard for me because of my profession, what I do. That's usually when people are getting out of work, and that's your busy time. So I had to take a step back for 2 years. Then when Coach Bookman resigned after those 2 years and he left, my phone started ringing off the hook from people, and people started calling me. And I'm not going to lie, I told them no. People called and I said, I don't know how I would swing it, how I would do it. And it was actually my wife who got on me and said, you should do it.
Don't mess with water.
No. And, our kids were getting a little bit older, because at the time when I stepped away, we just had our second. We had my son, Ethan, and we already had my daughter, Avery. And so they were getting a little bit older now. Now they're 3 and 6. So a little bit more self-sufficient, not as much as, but not as an infant. And, decided that if I would come back and do that, the head coach gets to choose the schedule. So we then changed our practice times. So our practice times are start practice at 6 o'clock at night. So we share the field with field hockey. So I called Mary Kelly, the head coach of the field hockey team, asked her and said, hey, would you mind switching practice times and going earlier? And they said, no, I think that's a great idea, because when they, come in here at night, they'd have to come in and lock the gate because they'd have to turn the lights on. It would be nighttime. And I said, I don't think anybody's going to mess with 90 guys on the field. So better time for us to go. And to be honest with you, I heard a couple rumblings at the beginning. Oh, we always practice after school. How are we going to do this? And it wasn't from the players, and it wasn't from the coaches or the parents. It was more so from a few people in the community. Like, how are you going to do that? You're really changing stuff. But the truth of the matter is, we play at 7 o'clock.
Right.
So we're practicing every night. We get to turn the lights on. We get to practice under the lights.
The whole field. And I honestly think it's the best way to do it. And it gives the kids a chance. I'll be honest with you, for coaching the 3 years that I did, practices after school stink. Kids are tired. They're in school all day. Some of them might have lunch at 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Odd times.
Yeah.
The schools are that big.
Yeah. Well, the different lunches, and that's just how they have to do it.
Right.
And they may be eating earlier, and then you're coming straight to practice, and maybe, you're running through McDonald's, or you're doing something. You may not even have time to do that, and they're not eating a good, healthy, nutritious meal.
Right.
So now they can go home. They can get something to eat. They can get their schoolwork done while it's still fresh in their head. Maybe relax for an hour, and then come over to practice and try to be fresh when we have practice. Because we don't have a lot of time to practice. That's the thing with high school. And once you get in the season, you have 2 days. You got Tuesday and Wednesday of your kind of full hitting contact, working on your schemes, doing the things that you're doing. Monday is kind of a film day, still trying to recover from the game Friday. Thursday is kind of what we're going to call, we used to do this in Shippensburg. We used to call it our speed day. You go through your entire playbook on air. So you run every single play that you have, so it's fresh in everybody's head. You know what you're doing. It's a long practice. It's long on your legs, but you're not hitting, but it's up here. It's getting that mental kind of tactical approach to how we kind of do things. So that's where we are, present day.
Yeah, good formula. It's better to be fresh than have to wait on it when you're going through a day. Generally, at least after school, the kids have time to decompress as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, you never know in this day and age what anybody's going through, but it also puts them in the right frame of mind. It's just, sometimes you work every other day when you have a part-time job. So it's a good formula in my opinion, and I think it makes sense. Plus, with the summer and the warmer weather, it allows to maybe get out in time for when the sun's starting to go down a little bit, things getting a little cooler. And
well, that's the funny thing now is everybody said, okay, we get your times are at 6 o'clock, but what are you doing now for doubles? And anybody that knows me has seen me all week just running circles, running around kind of all over the place. And we're practicing still. We're practicing early in the morning, and then we're practicing that 6 o'clock at night, later at night. But in between, I'm not going home and taking a nap. It's going back to work.
Right.
Trying to get in, trying to still take care of our patients and the people that we have a responsibility to, who we see, because that was kind of the biggest thing was, we understand what you're doing and you're trying to do for the community and do for these kids, but we also have a responsibility in what, kind of we do. You're gonna hear from TJ Stepanski, who's one of the doctors with me in our office and also a coach with me here. So, it's been a rough week. Been a rough week for us. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for Saturday, just to get a day where, I don't see 4:45 in the morning on my alarm clock, but try to get a little bit of rest. But then it's trying to get into our game plan for this week coming up.
Obviously, putting all the formula together to kind of get it to your way and make it your program. Now you've been in, I guess it's going to be close to 6 months since February, just about. The direction, obviously, the formula is there, and the general form of how things are going to go. Where do you see the state of the program at this time?
I think the state of the program is in a very good place. We have record numbers this year in our 7th, 8th, and 9th grade programs. And that's all kind of the steps that Coach Bookman was putting forward,
right?
Going forward the last few years. I really pushed for Coach Bookman to get the job when he was applying for it, because that's kind of where I wanted to see the program go. I got tired. I said, don't hire somebody from outside of the area. Don't hire somebody who their heart and soul isn't here. Our heart and soul is here, and you want the betterment for the community and the people, and just kind of try to bring some excitement back to football. People could say high school football is dead. Tell that to Texas.
Look at it, man. It's a stadium our size, but completely around, almost a Division II school size stadium.
They're huge.
From what you've seen in the movies and all that stuff, but it's an atmosphere that's just bar none.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We have great kids that have bought in, that have come through our program. We just had media day yesterday when we were up, and a lot of the coaches and media members are like, "Oh, you guys are from Hazleton. It's the 10th largest school in Pennsylvania. You should have no problem getting kids out." Truth is, it is difficult to get kids out. It's in this day and age, kids nowadays look at this like it's a job and it's work. And I try to preach that to our players. This is high school. You were supposed to have fun. I tell them to play other sports. Don't just play football. Play them all. That's what I did. I thought every sport that I played helped me become a better football player when I did in college, because I played basketball, because I played baseball. Baseball was my hand-eye coordination. Basketball was my footwork. Football was just my pure power. And like learning how to be physical was, the football part. But you should be having fun. When you go to college, if you're good enough and, God willing enough to get a scholarship and be able to go play in college, that's your job done. They're giving you money. They're paying for your education. So now it's a job. That's when it's, your 5 a.m. meetings and your film and you gotta lift and you gotta know you're this and all of that kind of stuff that goes along with it. That's your job, on top of going to school and making sure that your grades are right. But
it's a different game now than it was back in the day, especially with that. But it seems the formula you're developing here is kind of almost readying for that, but yet allowing them to play other sports is a great thing. Being a 6A school, Hazleton isn't just a football school. It just isn't a basketball school. It just isn't a baseball school. 3 of the tops that have been, swimming, track, and fields. I could go on for hours with all the programs. It's just tough enough being a 6A school, because our enrollment is so high in all the figures and stats, allow that, and it makes it even harder. I mean, still being within the conference, but when you look at, your non-conference games, you have an Easton, starting with a Nazareth, an Easton, along with a Berwick or a Wilkes-Barre area, which again, another program that's developing and growing into something, to compete with. I believe they're 4A now. Is it 4A?
Wilkes-Barre 6A.
Oh, are they 6A?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just so hard, and I used to discuss with a head coach that's actually at Bloomsburg right now. It's just so hard to win one game.
Mm-hmm.
You put all this time in, you put all the practices in through the summer sessions, and you get the double, so on and so forth. And then you get into school, and it's just so hard to win one game.
Yep. That's why you got to take them one game at a time.
That's it. I know we talked about the state of the program, Scott. I know there's another thing out there helping from the financial end of it. We don't want to get into it, but can you tell us a little about the fundraising you're doing towards the program and such?
So I've been a member of the quarterback club since I was a coach. I just remember the quarterback club, which is our booster club for the football team. I mean, they've been around for many years. They were here when I played, and anything the football team needed, they always helped with. They sponsor it. Every dollar that's raised through the quarterback club goes directly to the football team, whether it's coaches get clothing, helping with different things like, for example, like just guys that film games, like that they'll help pay for stuff like that. We need buses. We need upgraded buses because the school provide busing, but if we needed an upgrade to a charter, the quarterback club will take care of that. They provide pregame meals for us. They'll have the banquet for us at the end of the year. They give scholarships. Just all of this money, all the fundraising, all of the things that the quarterback club does. And the funny thing is, so the head coach gets to become a participating member because you're at all the meetings, but you're not considered a member. So when I got hired as the head coach, they said, well, the coach is an honorary member, so how about if we take you off and we'll put you on as an honorary member. I waited for years to get into the quarterback club. Like it's a small group.
It is.
There's only 30 members.
Right.
So you could be a while till you could get on there. And I said, well, time out. I said, I waited longer to get into the quarterback club to help out the program than I did, trying to go for the head coach. I said, let's say they don't like what I'm doing and they get rid of me next year. And I said, now I'm on the outside looking in. I said, so I'm going to pay my dues and I'm going to remain a member. So it's a little bit of a challenge in aspects of that because, I'm the first non-educator head coach.
That's what I was going to touch on. You read my mind.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until I read it in the newspaper when the announcement came out. I didn't know that it was always been a teacher that does that. So, it's a little bit of a different ball game for everybody involved in the program because, changing things up, changing the way that we do things, from an aspect of a business owner and somebody who's manages things on a day in and day out basis, and that's kind of what a head coach's role and responsibility is. You got to be a manager. I let my coaches coach. I trust each and every one of them. Literally every coach that we have is coaching in the position that they have played in or coached in for years. But every coach member of my coaching staff, except for TJ, who we're going to meet later, he played at Lake Lehman, but he works here in Hazelton. But every other coach that's on my staff played here at one point in their time. So it means a lot to us. It really does. Like our heart and soul is in it, and it does.
Yeah, I was just about to bring it's almost a differential oddity, I guess, if it makes sense, to not have a teacher in the position. But by everything you said, I mean, your heart is so close to this program. along with the assistants that are involved. I mean, we could go on and on about each one. TJ is going to join us here in a couple of minutes. I don't want him to get up. It's just today. We'll get into it. 2 years. Just not being from the area, coming up the office and such, being a patient as well. But people should have no fear of it being a name that's known in the community, but oh, what's he doing being a coach? He's not an educator. He's not a teacher. It's someone who's close to this program. It means a lot to have someone from the outside, as Scott explained, to come in here. And believe me, he's not that far from the outside. So it's commendable. It's very commendable.
I've had a few people ask me that, with that, you're not a teacher. How can you look at this? So I'm doing this because I love it and I want to do it. If we win, great. I'm not going to lie. We want to win. We want to build our program back, and we want to do good. But at the end of the day, I'm worried about these kids making sure that they could get a start the way that I did, the way that Coach Patron gave us when I played. Even to this day, before I even put in for this job, he was one of the first phone calls that I made. I was on the phone with him for a half an hour. By the time I got off the phone with him, I was ready to run through a wall. Still, 20 years later, I could still get me fired up and ready to do something. And that's one thing. If this wouldn't go well, if we win or lose a game, my life's not over. I'm not just doing this to be a coach for the glory of it. It's something that I want to do. And you know what? If it wouldn't go well and things wouldn't go well, at the end of the day, I'm still a chiropractor. I'm doing this and taking it out of my own personal time, taking time away from my family and doing these things for my way to give back in a way that I didn't know how else to. I became a chiropractor because I love helping people and I love giving back. There's nothing better than seeing somebody come in pain, have them feel better and leave. But it's how do you do that for the youth in the community? How do you become a leader and show these? You could talk to them all that you want, and say when I see them in the office or they come in, but now I'm a staple in their day in and day out. They see how I carry myself. They see how I talk. They see how I am. And I'm just trying to show them how I'm a leader and how I do my leadership and try to pass that on to them to develop young men into great men down the road that more than likely we're all going to be working somewhere. If we're lucky, I think maybe Hazelton has a history of one guy making it to the NFL. Most of us are not making a career out of this.
He was stone right over by the Richie Nashville.
Yep.
So, I mean, if that's not something to walk into the locker room every day and see and just say, that could be my goal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my aspect of it and kind of looking at it that way. And, we're here for these kids. To use our program up, bring it back to the community, try to do some exciting stuff on a Friday night. We're going to try to do some different things, bring back the excitement, try to get people coming back to the stadium.
I said my second year, and one of the mentions that I had made, statements that I had made, sharing the stage with another broadcaster. You got to get out here. You got to get out here on a Friday night. Bring yourself to a game. Bring your kids to a game. As you had mentioned, families have been coming to these things for years. Just talking with my producer Kelly at the Grassy Knoll. When my father used to bring us, we never sat on the home side. We never sat in the visiting section. We sat in those old bleachers every game. We sat one year through a snowstorm. A squall. It was more like a storm.
Yeah.
Against Pottsville. I hated it, but I came every Friday. The statement had been made to me quite a few times over the past couple of years. It's a whiteout, a student whiteout, and it's like 15 or 20 kids, and it's just, it seems to be, again, I spoke a little bit about form to you and just your formula and your formation and what you're putting into play. And that's where it needs to be, fortunately, I got to go around a lot during the season, like I said, from the TV side, and get down south a lot, down Schuylkill County and Wilkes-Barre area. And even on that side, it seems to be growing more and more as the schools get bigger. Obviously, Wilkes-Barre, combined with such schools up there, I guess it was 3 or 4 of them. It really seems like the formula is being put in place to kind of, take those 15 or 20 or 25 kids wearing white shirts, just an example, and bust that whole section out to 75 or 100. And then some. It's still warm when a lot of that stuff happens. Spirit Club does a lot with the cheerleading squad. We'll get that into later episodes with special guests. But it's good formula to build on. And hopefully we're going to see a lot more folks out here. There's nothing like it. When I'm standing in the middle of this field on a Friday night, it just, from our vantage point, I've never played it down in my life. I've never played it down in organized football. I was a band geek. We were talking about that earlier. I was a manager in my junior high days, but the feeling you get from our vantage point on this field, you want to have that same kind of electricity up in the stands. So, yeah. And I think it's well on its way from what we discussed there.
I agree.
Scott mentioned about the assistant coaches. We have one of them with us this afternoon. I happen to be a patient of his as well, so we fight a lot. I haven't seen him in a while.
The hard part is we're doing this. It's nice because we could kind of make our own schedule, but a lot of my other coaches that I got, a lot of guys work. So
he's really tall. He should be in the shot though. I think so.
It was tough. It was tough for a lot of guys to get here.
You'll still pick up from me. Okay. TJ Stepanski. I know him as Dr. TJ Stepanski. I don't know what I should call you.
We should stand up. You want to stand up?
You want to stand up with him? We could do that. Let's show how short I really am. We'll just move.
We're going to probably have to stand up when the players come out anyway.
Yeah, those boys are really tall. I was just like, these kids are in high school. But sorry about the shot. Kelly got a nice adjustment on it. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're from up the line, up north.
Yep.
Scott mentioned about your days at Lake Lehman, but take us through. And
born in Lehman, went to Lehman.
Black field, right?
Not when
you played, but they have a really cool field.
But black now. I think they're redoing it again. So I think it's gonna be black again. But yeah, played football there, played baseball there. Played 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. Had some opportunities to play football in college and ultimately decided to play baseball. Had a lot of concussions, so that had a lot to do with it. But, had some offers to go play some places. Had some offers to go play some places, decided to play baseball in college and, met Scott in 21? Yeah, 2021. He hired me. Kind of just happened really quickly. And then when this came up, we talk football all the time. He knows, we would sit there in the office on a Friday and talk about football for a couple hours a day, once a week, and talk about Hazleton. He'd ask me about Lehman. We talk about Penn State, the Dolphins, the Eagles. And then when he asked me, should I try this? I was like, if you want to, yeah. You've been talking to me about it for 2 years already. Why not do it? So
he's got a good mind, folks.
So yeah,
we've had those discussions as well.
And then he asked me one day. He said, would you be interested in helping me? And I couldn't have said yes quick enough. I almost jumped up out of my seat. Because I always wanted to keep being around the game. And I love football. I'm a nerd. I watch all 22 Penn State, tape throughout the year. So to be a part of it is awesome. And I'm very, very grateful to be here.
So I know you're assistant, but what exactly is your role with the coaching staff?
Yeah, so I coach the receivers, coach the DBs, and then passing game coordinator. So put in a lot of the passes, gonna help call the passes. I'll be upstairs, so you won't see me.
I won't even get to see it.
No,
I'm so upset.
I'll come see it at halftime.
So during the winter, when we would have a break at the office, we would try to do our notes, get our notes done, and then you would see us click on a tab, and football plays would come up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's how it was.
It was myself, TJ, and Coach Drummy that put our new offense together.
Yeah.
And it was months, and it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of, kind of hours sitting and changing and drawing.
And like we talked about, the good formula.
Yeah.
Good formula.
Yeah.
If it starts that early.
Yeah. So
formula.
we're excited to unveil that offense, to our fans and to everybody. We're gonna hold off and kind of hopefully show everybody what we could do. We think it's gonna be pretty good. So we're excited. But again, you don't know until you get that first test and kind of get out there and really see what it looks good to us.
Yeah.
Your first scrimmage is coming up, right? I believe on the 16th.
Yeah, next Saturday. Yep. So that'll be our first real test. So be able to see how that goes and go, kind of go from there.
How's your interaction been with the guys?
Oh, it's been awesome.
I mean, I know it's been on the sidelines the past couple of years. You get to see this one come and this one go.
Yeah.
With the other side on the TV side. I mean, they're a good group of guys.
Definitely.
But thus far your interaction. In the past however many months.
So what I told them when I first met them, when we first met the team, was like, I don't know any of you, right? So I was kind of in a different, unique situation to, I didn't coach you in junior high, or like most of our other coaches have, or at least know you, right? Because I don't live here. So
right.
It was a unique perspective to kind of get to know them, really have a blank slate with every kid, and just see what you can do, whether it's in the weight room or out here. But it's been great. A lot of them are, picking up quickly, and they're ready.
That's awesome. They're ready. All new offense installed.
Yep.
That's the other thing too, right, Scott?
Yep.
I mean, it's not what they've done, especially the seniors, in the past 4 years.
Yeah. We think that we have a fun offense.
Definitely.
We do. Our kids enjoy running it. They enjoy doing it. The button clicked in our passing scrimmage. I think the first month that we were kind of putting it in, and they were like, not really sure about it. And I think it was maybe our third or fourth play, and it was boom, touchdown.
Yeah.
And you just saw that light switch flip for all of our kids,
Definitely.
And they bought in from that point forward. And I had a couple of reporters ask me yesterday, when did it change? When did they see or were the kids kind of standoffish towards you? How did it kind of, and that seems like that's kind of when it really clicked.
And quickly remind you again, a big thanks to our show sponsor, our pre-show for Meet the Cougars. By the way, if you're watching or if you're catching this sometime between now and the 5 o'clock hour, things get underway. Scott, right around 5ish.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the introduction to football players, the band, the cheerleading squad. I believe the band is performing too, right?
Band is performing. Cheerleaders will be out here. So we're gonna do everything. The gates will open at 5. Quarterback club will have their shed open. They'll have their programs, ads getting done. The concession stand's going to be open. We're going to have food. We're going to do kind of a team introduction and entrance right at around 6 o'clock, and then introduce all of our players, introduce our 3 cheerleading teams, introduce our band, just kind of like a true meet. This is your Cougars for the 2025 season.
And training most of the night like a game, a Friday game night would be.
Yep.
With the concession stand, the souvenir stand, the performance of the band, so on and so forth.
Yep.
Again, thank you to our show sponsor. I got into it and then lost my mind. R.L. Marchetti and Son, Hazelton. Quickly got my info here because my cards got mixed up. I got excited because TJ came on and said 570-455-7335. Over 110 years serving the Hazelton area. Again, big thanks to R.L. Marchetti Plumbing and Heating here in Hazelton, 570-455-7335.
And if you know Randy Marchetti well enough, you know he never puts his phone down. So if you call,
he will pick it up.
He will,
he will be there, especially if the tub's leaking 2 floors away.
Randy has bailed us out of so many situations in our house, and this is where I'm going to throw my wife under the bus because it's mostly from her.
Now, I mentioned don't mess with Lauren, but you're going to do so anyway.
One time she tried to do she cleaned the fish tank and put the rocks down the garbage disposal. And Randy came in and he said, Scott, he couldn't even get the crank to go. He's like, what's in here, rocks? And then he looked and he said, "It is rocks." Yeah. So yeah, Randy, the Marchetti family, his father Ronnie, and my dad were best friends growing up. They grew up literally right over here where Bob's Sporting Goods was. It was actually my grandfather's bar. It was Sacco's Cocktail Bar.
Wow.
Back in the day on Wyoming Street. R.L. Marchetti was across the street. So my dad and Ronnie, who's Randy's father, were friends forever, same age, went to high school together. Lots of times they would sneak over here onto the field because back in the day, and our captains just came out here, there was no fence around Harmon Geis.
Nope.
And there was nothing built over here. It was just woods.
Wide open.
So they would come over here and play, and Ronnie used to tell a story. They would play baseball on Harmon Geis, and the home plate was in the corner. And he said my father was the only one that ever broke a window on the third floor of the Dukeland building.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
And if you know where we are, we're in the center of the field, and it's far away.
It's a shot.
Yeah.
It's a shot.
And you said that was second level he hit it.
Yeah,
right?
second or third level.
Wow.
Yeah, you'd have to ask Ron. He remembers all that kind of stuff. But he's like, your father hit a baseball further than I've ever seen anybody ever hit. But that's a good when saying thanks.
We
to
even
Randy.
get nostalgic here in the park.
Yeah.
What can I say? Once again, big thanks to Randy and R.L. Marchetti. Again, I'm serving the Hazleton area and surrounding for over 110 years. Give Randy a call. For all your plumbing and heating needs, 570-455-7335. Also want to remind you, if you're interested in joining our little house of fun here, sponsorships are available. There's single games. There's also full season. There's also other options that we can explain to you. Please feel free to give us a call. 570-778-5942. You'll get me. You'll see the ticker on the bottom of the screen with all our addresses. As I told you earlier, we are coming to you live on YouTube this afternoon. That's at the local sports pod. You can also contact us on Facebook and or Instagram. DM us, both the local sports pod. So if you're interested and you want to join our little fun house of football and athletics, please do. We still have a good 2 weeks. We have a few now, but it's always good to get a little more in and help pay some of the bills and keep the lights on. Talked earlier about the players. We're gonna make you go away.
Yep.
So go back to your hole in the box upstairs.
I'm gonna step out so you have enough room here with the players.
Yeah, I'm not yet.
But
We'll talk about that in private.
my part will end. I'll let you finish.
Well, you're
with
going to
the players.
introduce the boys,
Okay.
and then we'll talk to them a little bit. If you want to hold it,
Okay.
I mean, the boys are going to just come on in behind us, Aaron. They're like huge. This guy. I've been watching this guy since he's in 8th grade. But Scott, let's introduce. These are the captains for the 2025 season. Coach will introduce you, and then we'll.
So our
go back and
captains
forth a
are.
little bit.
We voted on Wednesday. Our entire football team got together. You got to put 4 names on. These are the 4 names that were overwhelmingly voted for the most. So shows their leadership throughout the off season, and now getting into camp and going forward. So we got Ashton Karlik, Jake Zabataki, Logan Gennaro, and Sam Heller. So all guys that look to have big roles in our team this year. So these are our 4 captains going to be leading us into our 2025 season. I'm thrilled for it. Know all 4 of these guys, and I'm thrilled that they got selected to do this. And this is an honor that I got to do when I was a senior. You never forget it. You'll get the walkout for the coin toss every week, and it's special. It really is. And I could tell you, playing in college and doing that, you never forget your high school teammates and who you played with. I have friends before we talked, they said I was texting a friend that I played with in college, but I'm closer with my high school buddies that I played with than I am with anybody else. There's guys in college I keep in touch with. Well, my high school buddies are involved in my life daily.
Yeah, I know they say it when you win a championship, you walk forever. But I believe at this point in your football experiences and careers,
Listen, you go through football, you go through 2 weeks of camp and 2 things that you do. I say this all the time. My day is never harder than a 2-a-day practice in 90-degree heat. I run
coming next week, fellas.
Yeah, I run around all day and see a lot of people, and I'm sweating and running around, but it's in air conditioning. You're not in full gear. It's not 90 degrees out. You don't have to do it for 2.5 hours, take a break, and then come back and do it again for 2.5 hours while somebody's trying to take your head off. There will be nothing you do in life that's going to be harder than a football practice, and this will get you ready for the rest of life.
Scott, why don't you give the mic to, you're going to step out. We'll talk to the boys a couple seconds.
Okay.
Ashton, tell them your grade, your full name, what position you're playing, and we'll go from there.
I'm Ashton Carlick. I'm a senior, and I play running back and outside linebacker.
And you've been in the program, obviously, through your high school, but when did you actually start?
I started on the freshman team my freshman year, my first year playing for Hazleton. And then my sophomore year, I got moved up to varsity, and I've been starting ever since.
Awesome. That's Ashton Carlick, ladies and gentlemen. Watch for number 4. Next man up.
Hi, I'm Jake Zabataki. I'm a senior. I play center, only offense. I got pulled up my 9th grade year on the varsity. I'm a 3-year starter from my sophomore year on to this year now.
Jake is a beast, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't see it, I can. I know him since he's a baby. He's one of our big followers right at the side. Thank you for that as well. Pass it on, my man.
I'm Logan Gennaro. I'm a senior, and I'm freshman year, played freshman, then sophomore I came up, played a little bit of varsity, and then last year is when I really got my chance. This year, obviously, got my chance.
Next man up for you.
I'm
just trying to move out of your way. Huge.
I'm Sam Heller. I'm a defensive end and a tight end. I'm a senior. I played freshman year and then sophomore year, got a little bit of varsity time on like special teams, and then last year was when I really got varsity opportunities. So gonna make an impact this year.
How's it been going all summer for you guys?
Good. Really good. We really formed together, like not just as a team, but as a family. That's kind of what it's all about. Just this group of guys here being leaders day in and day out in the weight room since the winter. It's just a great community we have going on here.
Yeah, real excited for you guys. First scrimmage next week, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday. A week from this Saturday against Strasbourg, and then all doubles are next week.
Yeah.
They look really
begins.
excited, folks.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, thank you for your time. I can only wish you the best of luck. You'll see my fat, ugly face a lot this year. So it's just we'll hang. It'll be good. Thanks to our players. We'll bring Coach Sacco back in here real quick, and we'll get set to wrap it up again. Getting ready for Meet the Cougars. They'll be introducing these guys along with the rest of the team. Just a good bunch of guys. I know.
I got to teach you guys to talk more. They're not quiet.
They're not you. I mean, you almost filled the whole hour.
They're not this quiet.
When we get together on Mondays, I'm just gonna say one thing, and you're just go with it. We might be sitting here in like a snowstorm, but
listen. You take a public speaking class when you're in college. That's it, and get a job as a waiter. Forces you to talk to people. Number one thing to do. All right, you got to go up to people you don't know and take their order, because if you don't get a tip.
And then before you know it, you're cracking their backs, their necks, their arms, their legs, and you're making them feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Once again, we are coming to you live from Harmon Geist Field, the home of the Hazleton area Cougars. Coach Scott Sacco is with us. Assistant coach, or one of the assistant coaches, TJ Stepanski. Join us. We have the 4 senior captains with us. I just feel so old with you 4, but it's been a great fun afternoon. We want to remind you that Meet the Cougars, as I mentioned before, happens probably in just about an hour, a little over an hour or so. If you're just peeking in to see and you don't know what you're doing here on a Friday night, you will get the feel of the game day. The stands are going to be open for food, souvenirs. Bring the kids just to get a feel of it. Obviously, the home opener for these guys isn't for another 3 weeks, right?
Yep.
Nazareth on the road on starting the 22nd. Mayes the following week, and then Williamsport. I'm sorry, and then they're back home here with the home opener
against West Grant.
So they got a little ways to go. School's going to be what, I guess almost in by the time the opener.
School will be in that first the week school goes back in will be our first home game.
Yep, that'll be the opener. Leading to our shows, the local sports pod with myself and of course Coach Sacco. We'll be bringing it a preview of the upcoming game for the week, and obviously after the first week, which all shows start every Monday, August 18th, and continue on through the season every Monday at 7:45. Coach Sacco and I, if we're not out here and it's nice, we may be sitting in a couple inches of snow or in a smelly locker room somewhere, but we'll work it out. I think it's going to be fun. Again, we start August the 18th with the preview show for the Nazareth game, and then continue weekly every Monday on from there. Again, on all the platforms, we'll be live to you at the local sports pod on YouTube. Also Facebook and Instagram, the local sports pod. And like I said, a couple of these guys have already followed us. Coach Sacco, and a special thanks to your wife and yourself. When we finally got the platforms up and running, I mean, it just started to blow up last Saturday. So I can't thank you and your wife and everyone around you, friends and such, and family, for helping it start to blow up. It's really getting out there, and especially for these guys.
I wanna say something about these guys before we kind of close off.
Sure.
I know our band's gonna perform.
Yeah.
Because they were so quiet. So try to introduce everybody to them. So Ashton here is pretty much going to be our workhorse in the backfield. All right. He came on really strong at the end of the season last year. We're looking for him to have an absolute huge year, offense and defense. So it was fantastic outside linebacker, but really looking to put a show on running ball this year. He's kind of our do it all. Okay. Jake, he's our anchor in the middle. He is our center. He is our leader there in the middle. You know, they say the center is like the second quarterback. That's him. He could probably play any position on the offensive line. He knows it all. He helps his guys that are next to him make sure nobody's making any mistakes. And, you know, he's really looking to run us forward here the next year. So kind of we're gonna go behind him. We're just gonna latch our trailers onto him, and he's gonna take us. So won't be surprised watching Ashton run behind him. All right, Logan here. You know, he said he came in last year, got to finally get his feet wet. Well, let me tell you something. He's going to have a huge year this year. Probably the best hands on our team. Some of the catches that he's been making so far, speedster, getting him out. So, because some of the newspapers asked me, you know, who's this guy? I said, you'll know his name by the end of the year. Mark my words. All right. And then we have Sam Heller. I said to Sam, I think in lifting, I said, do you like Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State? All right. He said, yeah. I said, do you think you could beat Tyler Warren next year? He said, yeah. Because you were what? B-back last year, right?
Yeah, fullback.
So being a fullback, I'm like, no. We're gonna get you out, and we're gonna bring the tight end game back to Hazleton, but also returning starter on defense too. So he's literally the end point of the line. So we either got tight end and DN. So also these guys are looking to have a big year, and you know they're our four captains, and we're gonna go where they take us. So just wanted to kind of give them a little plug to get some people to kind of get to know them, other than your name and your number and who you are,
I think
what you're actually going to do.
We're going to let you take the show over, I think, because I feel so small amongst these boys. They're not boys, the men. And it's just been a fun afternoon. I want to thank you guys. Thanks to TJ. Thanks for letting us do this, period. You and I talked about it a couple of months ago. You bought it. I didn't have to do much selling. And it's just, I think it's a good thing. It hasn't been done in quite a while.
No.
Not on a weekly basis.
No, I agree.
You know, and I told you that's what I really wanted to. It's community. It's what we talked about earlier. Get these people out here, get these kids on the grass, playing, emulating what they're doing out here. Mm-hmm. Get them in the stands, and if we can help in that, it starts to make me feel a little good too, and like I'm doing something because it like I said, it's coming to school. School's coming back in. First thing I think of, I guess it's because I'm a sports junkie, and TJ will tell you that too. First thing I think of is almost football season. Okay, we got to go to the football games. We got to, that was always our thing as a kid, and I'm sure it was as yours as well.
Absolutely.
So as you can see, I told you about surprises and stuff. They're going to play us out here. We have some members of the Hazleton area High School Cougar Marching Band, which is also a part of your game day. We thank them for coming on. Mary, you can get them started anytime you want. We're setting to close it down here. Again, thank you so much if you're out there, even just checking in for a couple of minutes. As I mentioned, thanks to Coach Sacco and his staff. Thanks to the guys from the team. Thanks to the band. Again, please check us out on all our platforms. As I mentioned 57 times already, and I'll go 58, at the local sports pod, live on YouTube. We will be every Monday starting August 18th through the football season, right from the 18th of August. I believe our last show, I think, is the 22nd of October. So they're going to get a fill of us every week that they're probably going to be sick of us. But at that point, you may just be taking over because, I mean, you're even talking to the guests now. So we'll strike the band up to play us out. Again, thank you so much. Get out tonight. Get an early taste of game day. Meet the Cougars tonight. Gates open at 5. Things start around 6. Support these guys. Come support the coaching staff. Come support our school. Hazleton Area High School. Let's go Cougars. Good night, everybody. All right, gentlemen. It was great. I think it went well. You just keep talking. Awesome.